I personally am not a fan of EVs, but this thing is cool. I'll include a link to the Murdoch Ford here in Santa Quinn's website in the description down below. This is their new storefront, so you should definitely give them a visit. Also include a link to my car buying guide. Let's get into it. This has a 91 kilowatt hour battery pack, 265 miles of driving range, 480 horsepower, and then 700 pound-feet of torque. And yes, it does have a little frunk. I'm trying to hit 500,000 subscribers before the end of the year. I'd really appreciate it if you'd help out with that. Now this sand color looks really cool on the Mach-e. Very sharp headlight design, especially with the daytime running lights. Little vent piece on the side's cool, and then look at the lights here in the center grille. Let's get this cool front splitter. And altogether, definitely has a distinctive appearance. I will say, I do think it's a little bit funny that the off-road Mach-e has such a large front splitter that's not going to be as good for approach angle. Tire wheel setup is 235 by 55 by 19. We have these rally-inspired wheels, or at least I'm sure that's Ford's language. Pretty nifty looking fender flares there. You can see that painted trim continues along the bottom. Rear caps are blacked out, window trim's all blacked out. And you know what, for an EV, I think that's a pretty cool looking side profile. Now we of course have a giant spoiler out back. And before we pop into the hatch, we'll take a quick look at the key fob. You got the Mustang horse there in the back. Lock and unlock, you got the opening for the front and then the opening for the hatch. There's a 12 volt here in the back and quite a bit of storage overall. It's funny, the trunk popper is right there in the center of the hatch. 3 taillights in a row, just like the Mustang sports car. And that's gonna wrap things up for the exterior. I don't know about you guys, but I think this is one of the coolest looking exteriors on an EV with all the elements put together. Let's now hop inside. That is weird. Looks like you got some suede and some soft touch over most of the door panel. Nice stitching on the seats, and then you got more suede there in the center section. Legroom back here is pretty darn solid. We've got some vents here in the rear, USB ports. And surprisingly, headroom back here, I mean, it's not enormous, but I fit pretty well. Let's now pop up front. We have the nice soft touch with the suede here in the front door panel. Mirrors power fold in. We also have memory seat functionality and blind spot monitoring with the mirrors. These front seats are kind of crazy looking. Power adjustable for the driver with lumbar support. The passenger seat's also power adjustable with lumbar support. We do also get a nice finish on the pedals. Start her up. Nice soft touch trim around the steering wheel with the Mustang horse front and center. Voice command volume controls on the right hand side. On the left hand side we've got our adaptive cruise control functionality. Got this little column shifter, it's electronic. There is this modestly sized digital gauge cluster, so it doesn't get in the way of visibility that much, but it gives you important information like your speed, range, state of charge, all that. This does come with a 360 camera system, not the biggest screen view, but the resolution's good. Now at the bottom of the screen we have our shortcuts for the climate, dual zone climate. You have heated seats, heated steering wheel, and then this is a multi-function control. Right now it's volume, but if I press the fan speed button, it'll now control the fan speed. Now at the top of the screen you've got little shortcut bars. So this is for the vehicle tab. This is where you can see the drive modes. You've got your unbridled, engage, whisper, one pedal drive. You can turn on the propulsion sound, rally sport. Interesting. We also have auto hold. By the way, it looks like that rally sport mode basically just pulls back on the traction control and still gives you tons of power, which is pretty cool. Anyways, the other tab is just for applications on the screen, and yeah, this thing is giant. Got some USB ports down below, and then we have our wireless phone charging pad. A couple cup holders. You've got your parking assist there, hazard lights, parking brake, and then more storage. This is actually just an armrest. You pick that up though, and you've got storage there in the center, some charge ports inside as well. Kind of an interesting setup. We do have a sunglass holder, and then you've got universal garage door openers. 2025 GT with the rally stuff. Total MSRP $58,590. Let's see how this performs. Well, Mach-e Rally. Let's see how she scoots. The price ain't bad for an EV with basically 500 horsepower, off-road capability. And again, this is, when they say off-roading, we're talking about dirt trails. This is not going to be a... Whoa. That braking was weird. It was like nothing. Let's fix these settings. Let's get some one pedal in. Yeah, that was really weird. Let's just do a gauge. Anyways, yeah, it was like nothing, and then all the brakes. Very inconsistent with the braking delivery there, I will say that. Of course you get instant power and instant torque. The suspension on this is really nice. So here's the deal about off-road vehicles. Even if you don't go off-roading, sometimes it can make sense to get them. If, like where I live, I obviously go off-roading a bunch, but where I live too has roads that are kind of bumpy all over the place, and so it's nice having the off-road suspension that can handle the bumps and everything. Sorry, this is not out far enough. It's interesting having a manual steering adjustment. Yeah, this thing's nice. These seats are actually, I was kind of worried about the seats because yeah, I've got a wider back, but I fit pretty well in these. They're, you know, tighter, but they're not restrictive. I just keep thinking about the price on this because I just reviewed that Mach-e Premium a few weeks ago. I thought that was really cool because it kind of gave you a lot of the GT looks and everything, but then you had a good range. This gives you like the GT performance with some off-road stuff, and it's barely more than that premium package. So if you're okay with the lower range that this has, it's kind of a cooler car, kind of a better value. Just the range is not as good. And you know, part of that's going to be the aerodynamics because of the kit, and then also the tires. Right, that premium package I reviewed had the street tires, which is obviously going to be a lot better for range. Yeah, I will say I'm pretty darn impressed with how well this drives. It's cool. I need to talk to these people. Maybe the reason I said maybe, I know the people that own that whole stuff. I need to ask them if maybe I could use I'll talk to the Ford dealer too. Maybe I could use their gravel roads to show you guys the suspension on some of these Fords. But yeah, the one pedal's good. The propulsion sound is not really. It's very, very, maybe unbridled it'll be louder. Okay, yeah, unbridled you get more noise. Let's try Rally Sport mode. Okay, so no one pedal drive with Rally Sport. Turns off stability control. It's got the same sound as unbridled in terms of the sound on it. Oh, I like this. The steering, too. It feels very like tight, very sports car like. Yeah, this is a cool car. So in summary, you know, Ford bringing down the price on the Mach-E's, I think it's paid off. You know, I am personally not in the market for an EV. Ah, that's quick. And this doesn't have, oh, we'll have to go to the next one. This doesn't have a full charge, by the way, so it's not going to be as quick as if it had more charge. But yeah, this is cool. This makes me more excited about an EV. Because this is something that I go, you know what? If I wanted to have something that was like a cool daily driver, I'd be more open to this. Because it still has cool looks, still has some practicality outside of just A to B. And the price, it's not cheap by any means, but I look at this price tag and it's not as offensive as like they use, because I feel like these were like 70 grand just a couple of years ago. It's like the price tag not being nearly as offensive. I don't know. Kind of makes it a lot more appealing. But let me know your thoughts.